Into the tunnel after the start of the second leg of the 250cc British Grand Prix here at Hawkstone Park. An awful lot to do for number 9, Eric Gabor, robbed of that first race, as you saw, with a mechanical failure. Väkkönen, it is again taking an early lead. Pekka Väkkönen from Finland into the lead. Gabor is back there in third. A tangle of riders as they exit the bend. Väkkönen has given up the lead. Gabor is there with him in third place. Waiting now for the riders to emerge to get the number of the leader. Having had their customary hour-and-a-half break that is statutory within the regulations to recover, the riders are now riding on a much more difficult surface. It's Jørgen Nielsen. Pekka Väkkönen again jumping past, but Nielsen who came home to second place in the first leg, alongside Pekka Väkkönen as they dispute the lead. Number 20 there.
And Jørgen Nielsen, of course, has now overtaken second place overall in this 250cc World Championship. So it's a great start for him on the Honda. A tremendous effort. But you said that Eric Gabor has got it all to do after he retired in the first race. And then so has Jeremy Watley, number 4 on the Suzuki. He fell, of course, once in the first race. But he did salvage 8 points after his 10th place. And the other man who salvaged some points was Rob Herring on the Yamaha, number 76. He got 4 points for his 12th place. The field are sorting themselves out. Up the Hawkstone hill, 1 in 4, down to second gear, and across that plateau at the top, and over to the drop-off.
Väkkönen again still in the lead. Riders sorting themselves out around the first lap. Gabor's in second, Nielsen in third. There is Väkkönen, hotly pursued by Gabor's. Again, I remind you, this is 40 minutes plus 2 laps. The riders have a long, long way to go. Approximately 16 laps to be completed, something in the region of 60 miles distance over this rough going at Hawkstone Park before the second leg is complete. And at the moment, the lead being disputed between this man, number 20, Pekka Väkkönen from Finland, and number 9, Eric Gabor on the Honda, having returned a 0 score in the first leg. Väkkönen now leading the table. Väkkönen by 87. Nielsen in second place, 71. Gabor still on 70, so he has an awful lot to make up.
And looking down the order as they went past us on that first lap, we had Rob Herring on the Yamaha, came past in 5th place, number 76. So if he can keep that up, that's an excellent start for him.
This is the battle for first place. Look how close they are. Jørgen Nielsen extremely close, third man. The riders much more bunched up in this leg. Watley's also in the frame. Watley pursued by number 43, Mark Smits, who also returned a good result in the first leg. So the consistency is coming through again in the second race. You can almost put a tent over these 3 riders as they battle for the lead. Väkkönen and Gabor side by side with Hansen right in the frame there. Peter Hansen, a protege of Torsten Hormann, 3 times 250cc world champion on the KTM, holding his own. So we have 2 Euro machines and the Honda. Gabor is in front.
This man, Peter Hansen, seemed to come quietly through in race number 1. And as you say, he's riding for the Swedish KTM importer Torsten Hormann, an ex-champion himself anyway. But Hansen worked for a long time for the Husqvarna factory, actually building engines for them and testing their bikes. And it's sort of noteworthy that he was a World Enduro champion in 83 and 85, so he's quite a good all-round accomplished rider. And there he is, number 6. KTM obviously will be very pleased with their progress in this particular World Championship round, and there he goes.
Hansen has passed Väkkönen side by side, nearly jumped in front of him. Cut across Väkkönen's front wheel, but jumped into second place. Väkkönen won't like that. He's fighting back. A Brilliantly inspired piece of riding by Hansen. Took his courage and conviction firmly in both hands there to jump past the championship leader. He's now got Gabor's in his sights. Can he keep this up for the 35 minutes remaining? Vekkanen coming back at him side by side as they go through the whoops.
Well, these two riders might slow each other down in their pursuit of Gabor's, but certainly at the moment we can't seem to see any problems with Gabor's Honda. They managed to fix that engine after the first race failure, and he's ticking away like a good one. On to the tabletop, big leap up into the air. There goes Hansen, leaping quite high. Coming back towards our commentary position, in front of the start-finish line, through that chicane, and up the long, long Hawkstone hill.
Eric Gabor's still in the lead. In second place, our number 20 on the Cagiva, Pekka Vekkanen. In third place, Peter Hansen, number 6 on the KTM. In fourth place, Robert Herring, 76 on the Yamaha. Number 5, Jorgen Nielsen, Honda in fifth. Number 38, Leo Combi, Kawasaki, our Dutch sand specialist, bringing up the rear. And Herring has given up that place to Jorgen Nielsen. And Nielsen is passed. Herring down to fifth. He won't be happy with that. He would have been expecting a little bit more, but Jorgen Nielsen is a force to be reckoned with.
And just look at that gap. Eric Gabor's has gone through past the start-finish straight. Where's the second man? There he is, Pekka Vekkanen on that Cagiva. The gap is now nearly 16 seconds. So Gabor's is really turning it on.
Some 20 minutes still to go before then. Herring almost stopped, pulling his rip-off away, dropping into the sandpit. It looks from here as though Herring's cruising. Not really racing now, Rob Herring.
There we have number 5, currently in fourth place, Jorgen Nielsen. And he's on the privately entered Honda. There he is, the man who is now, of course, up to second place overall in the championship, in the 250cc World Championship. And he's reveling in the conditions here at Hawkstone Park.
Nielsen has made up that place on Hansen. He is, as you say, in third now. That's amazing. He's really progressing hard now. Can Nielsen catch Vekkanen? Now, maybe Vekkanen is complacent to a point in that he's got a comfortable second place and may well be unaware that Nielsen is making the progress he is through the field. Now sitting in third, there is Vekkanen. Number 20, Pekka Vekkanen. What we need to see is the gap between Vekkanen and Nielsen. It's still quite a gap. I'll run down all the positions. Eric Gabor still in first place. In second place, Pekka Vekkanen, just leaving our picture. Jorgen Nielsen in third. Peter Hansen on the KTM in fourth. Leo Combe in fifth. And Mark Schmidt still holding good for Honda in sixth. But there's Gabor's. He doesn't look at all tired. Fresh as the moment he left the starting gate. Carefully through the whoops, not wishing to throw this one away. The Honda seems to be performing well. He must have effected some major mechanical repairs. In his own words, it just went clank and stopped, he said, after the first leg.
Now, Barry, as our expert, you can perhaps tell us what that little tube is coming over the top of his number plate there on the front over the mudguard. Hope that's nothing wrong.
That's the hydraulic hose for his front disc brake, and it needs to slide up and down because with 12 inches of travel on the front suspension, it has to go somewhere, so it runs through a little guide in front of the number plate which allows it to telescope. There we are, the 2-lap board is out, 2 laps to do for Eric Gabor's.
And And there is Gabor's coming up to lap one of the Russians. That's Andres Krastanov. He was the first reserve and just managed to get in his KTM. And incidentally, those Russian KTMs have been purchased by the Russian government, but there are no sponsors. They run them all on the proverbial shoestring. And it is fair to say that in this instance, technology has left them standing still, I'm afraid.
Just an interesting point, very quickly. CZ, the famous Czechoslovakian manufacturer who were to the fore some 20 years ago in international motocross, are now producing a production machine which is very handy for the clubman. So the Eastern Bloc or Warsaw Pact countries are now back in motocross to some degree. And a rundown after 17 laps with Gabor's on his penultimate lap in the lead. Väkkönen in second place, Jörgen Nielsen sitting in third still on the Honda. Peter Hansen with that KTM in fourth. Leo Combe still there in fifth place, and Mark Smits, he'll be pleased with sixth place from this leg.
Well, Gabor's onwards to victory, but only in the second race. The first race belonged to Väkkönen, and of course Väkkönen sitting pretty in second spot will take the overall honours. And